It's a move that can reduce UK to a giant melted sport. It is a move that can send chills down Washington DC's spine. President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday finally announced changes in Russia's nuclear policy. He held a meeting with his Security Council in Moscow and said in a new warning to the West that any nation's conventional attack on Russia that is supported by a nuclear power will be considered a joint attack on his country. Putin emphasized that Russia could use nuclear weapons in response to a conventional attack that posed a critical threat to their sovereignty, a vague formulation that leaves broad room for interpretation. The Russian president is the primary decision maker on Russia's nuclear arsenal and needs to give his final approval to these changes. The previous doctrine issued by Putin 4 years back said Russia could use nukes in the event of a nuclear attack by an enemy or a conventional attack that threatens the existence of the state. Some hawks in the Russian military were not happy with this and called for lowering the threshold for nuclear use in order to sober up Russia's enemies in the West. The move comes as Ukraine's Western allies consider whether to allow Kyiv to use longer range weapons to strike targets deep inside Russia. Ukraine, on the other hand, has urged Western nations to ignore Putin's warnings. Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff, Andrei Yermak, said Putin's latest remarks were little more than blackmail. Yermak said Russia no longer has any instruments to intimidate the world apart from nuclear blackmail. These instruments will not work. Well, Ukraine is free to assume anything, but the fact of the matter is that Russia seems to have realized that Western belligerence can be only controlled by posing a serious nuclear threat. In July, Russia had kicked off the third phase of exercises for its non strategic nuclear forces. During these exercises, Russian military personnel practiced installing dummy warheads on launch vehicles and moving them to designated areas in preparation for electronic launches. Then in August, Russia unveiled its latest drone, a doomsday first person view aerial vehicle designed to monitor radiation levels in the event of a nuclear attack. Just earlier this month, Moscow was said to be fully ready for exploding a nuclear bomb at any moment in the Arctic. As per a Daily Mail report, the director of an old Soviet test site in the Novaya Zemlya archipelago insisted that testing facilities are ready and can be used immediately if the order is given. The site has not been used for nuclear testing since October 1990, after which the ailing USSR ruled out any future tests, a pledge which is still upheld by Russia. And earlier, Russian Parliament Speaker Vyacheslav Volodin had warned that in the event of strikes on Russian cities with the Western missiles, more powerful weapons are at the ready to hit back. Just last week, traces of radioactive cesium 137 were measured along Norway's border with Russia. Experts feared that Russia might be testing its flying Chernobyl missile at Novaya Zemlya site. The nuclear armed missile is officially known as Burevestnik. So, can we say we are officially heading towards a nuclear war now? And if yes, who can stop it? No one, until Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are in charge of the US government.